So my name is Dr. Norma Thomas, and I'm here with Mr. Don Homer, who is the caretaker for Clearview Cemetery in Uniontown, Pennsylvania. And later, I'll give you more of the history of Clearview. But for right now, Mr. Homer, can you tell me why you decided to become the caretaker of Clearview Cemetery?
Well, initially, I found out there were 114 veterans buried here, and I'm a retired military person, so I felt that someone needed to take care. And then as I'm doing that, I said, well, I can't let other people out, so I just took on the whole cemetery.
And so how long have you been taking care of Clearview?
Oh, I would guess probably 8-9 years now.
And what have you found to be the biggest challenge?
Well, weather has a lot to do with it. We had some severe windstorms that knocked trees and stuff down. But, some, like this summer has been very dry. It's hard to cut and trim. But the weather's probably the biggest challenge.
And you mentioned to me that you would like people to share information that they might have about the cemetery. Can you elaborate on that a little?
Yes, ma'am. For the last probably 3 years, I've kind of exhausted all my research possibilities. But I find that every once in a while someone will come into the cemetery and have some information about where one of their relatives are buried, or a nickname that's on a stone or something. And I find that very interesting. So if anyone who has pictures of the old cemetery years ago, or knows of where someone's buried or something, they come down and share it with us someday. And I'd appreciate that. That helps me put things together a little bit.
Well, thank you, Mr. Homer, for not only talking to me today, but for your incredible work in keeping this cemetery accessible, and to keeping this cemetery in fact in such beautiful condition that people can now come and find their relatives, pay honor to their relatives. Thank you for paying honor to all the people that are buried here, the over 500, is it?
Yes.
People who are buried in the cemetery. And how many veterans?
I've estimated so far 538 personnel buried here, but every time I cut grass I find one or two more that I haven't found.
And how many veterans again?
I estimated 114, and I have found actual grave sites of about 85.
So this cemetery, which is how many acres? I should remember.
5.5 acres.
5.5 acres with over 500 people buried with over well over 100 and more veterans.
Yes, ma'am.
This cemetery is sacred ground, and we thank you, Mr. Homer, for taking care of this cemetery. Thank you.